Welcome back, focused learners, to another explainer. Today, we're demystifying something you experience all the time, but you probably rarely think about it scientifically. We're talking about exactly how retail service quality is measured. We're looking at a really fascinating academic study titled Retail Service Quality Scale Validation in Pakistani Super and Hyperstores. We're going to unpack exactly how experts quantify your shopping trip and translate those complex, somewhat invisible feelings you have in an aisle into hard, actionable data. I want you to picture your own favorite store right now. Why exactly do you go there? Is it the lighting, the friendly cashiers, maybe the fact that they always have that one specific brand of cereal you like? Or is it literally just because they have a massive parking lot? Okay, let's dive into this, because understanding the precise mathematical answers to these questions is the absolute core of the retail dilemma. It dictates whether a multi-million-dollar store succeeds or completely fails. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the retail service problem, then measuring the shopping experience, break down the 6 dimensions of retail, look at the Pakistani store experiment, analyze the super versus hypermarket results, and wrap up with lessons for retail managers. Don't worry, we're going to translate this complex academic study into a really clear step-by-step narrative. Section 1. The retail service problem. We've all experienced the sheer frustration of poor customer service, right? But in the business world, that frustration comes with a massive price tag. The source material points out that in rapidly growing retail sectors, like Pakistan's socioeconomic boom, shoppers are demanding better and better experiences. And when retailers ignore these expectations, the result is immediate customer switching behavior. Basically, shoppers just leave. This dissatisfaction directly tanks profitability. Ignoring the shopper isn't just bad manners, it's a heavy business cost that literally destroys the bottom line.
Moving on to Section 2, measuring the shopping experience.
If bad service costs money, retailers obviously need to fix it. But how do you quantify something as invisible as a good shopping trip? Academics have wrestled with this for decades. So the crucial point is how we actually define it. Service quality is conceptualized as a gap. It's the gap between what a customer expects before they walk in and how they perceive the actual performance once they're inside. Think of it like this. If you expect a luxury experience and you just get average service, that gap is really wide and the quality is deemed poor. But if you walk into a discount warehouse and get amazing help, the gap closes or even reverses, and quality is suddenly deemed high. And this brilliantly illustrates the evolution of how we measure that gap. First, there was ServQual, which tested 22 items twice, once for expectations and once for perceptions. Then came ServPerf, which simplified things by measuring just the perception once. But retail is kind of a unique beast, right? It involves both physical goods and services. So, researchers developed the RSQS, the Retail Service Quality Scale. It uses 28 specific items measured just once, and it's tailored exclusively for the retail environment. That brings us to Section 3, 6 dimensions of retail. So what exactly are those 28 items actually looking for? Well, these are the specific criteria experts use to judge a store's quality. The standard RSQS model usually looks at 5 areas, but this specific study tests 6. We've got physical appearance, reliability, personal interaction, problem solving, policy, and importantly, they pulled out convenience to test it as a brand new independent dimension here. Let's break these down real quick. First up is physical appearance, and this isn't just about looking pretty. It covers modern equipment and attractive layout, cleanliness, and lighting. The data actually shows that a highly convenient layout minimizes a shopper's search time. Plus, good color combinations and decent lighting literally lift the emotions of shoppers and positively influence their buying behavior. It's a real game changer. Second is reliability. Can the store fulfill its promises? Are your transactions completely error-free? Do they actually have the right variety of merchandise on the shelves when you need it? Getting it right the first time is absolutely essential for a store's perceived competence. If a store is constantly out of stock on the basics, its reliability score just plummets. Third, we have personal interaction. Are the staff courteous, friendly, and supportive? Do they offer helpful, customized service? Friendly employees and personal attention create immense loyalty. When the staff inspire confidence, shoppers feel totally secure in their transactions and are for sure much more likely to return. Fourth is problem solving, because let's face it, things go wrong, products break. The real question is, how does the store handle it? This dimension tests the store's ability to effectively manage returns, exchanges, and handle customer complaints. Service recovery is absolutely vital. especially for busy shoppers who just expect quick fixes without any of the hassle. Fifth is policy. This covers the store's structural rules. Do they have ample parking space? Are the hours convenient? Do they accept your credit or debit cards? A store's policy reveals its hidden norms and values. And in the modern retail environment, strong, customer-friendly policies heavily influence where people choose to shop. Finally, the sixth dimension, convenience. In this study, it was pulled out as a newly separated factor, focusing heavily on one-stop shopping and easy availability. The researchers noted that Asian customers, in particular, highly value excellent service quality combined with convenience in their grocery shopping. Basically, they want everything available under one roof.
Section 4, the Pakistani store experiment. Let's move to a Soho and see how this builds in a real-world scenario.
To ground this experiment in reality, researchers took this six-dimensional model and applied it to Lahore, Pakistan. They collected 250 useful responses from actual shoppers, 162 male and 88 female. They gathered this data from customers who had literally just finished shopping at either a major hypermarket or supermarket. The big question was, does this Western design scale actually work in a developing retail market? Section 5, Super versus Hypermarket Results. And get ready, because we're about to reveal what these 250 shoppers actually cared about the most. First, let's look at the overall validity. The statistical analysis showed that these six dimensions explain 21.5% of the variance in why people preferred hypermarkets and 17.3% for supermarkets. To put that academic jargon into perspective, this proves that the retail service quality scale is a completely valid, reliable mathematical instrument to measure shopping experiences in Pakistan, not just in the West. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the staggering difference between the two store types. There is a massive contrast in shopper priorities depending on the format of the store. For hypermarkets, 5 out of the 6 hypotheses were supported. In a giant hypermarket, shoppers demanded good physical appearance, high convenience, strong reliability, great personal interaction, and solid policy. But in supermarkets, only 2 of the 6 dimensions mattered, physical appearance and policy. In a smaller supermarket, shoppers just didn't care as much about interaction or convenience. They just wanted to look nice and have good rules, like easy parking and smooth card payments. Section 6, Lessons for Retail Managers. Let's bring all this academic data right back to the real world. So, what do business leaders actually do with all this data? Here are the core takeaways. First, the RSQS is a valid, generalizable scale, even in collectivist cultures like Pakistan. It works. Second, hypermarkets are held to a much higher standard. They must focus heavily on convenience, staff interaction, and reliability if they want to survive. Third, smaller supermarkets can actually win simply by having a good physical layout and strong store policies. Fourth, and this is a really fascinating cultural insight, problem solving was surprisingly not statistically significant for either store type in this specific sample. Finally, managers absolutely must create standard operating procedures targeted at their specific store format. You literally cannot manage a supermarket the exact same way you manage a hypermarket. Which brings us to the end of our analysis. This study proves that our shopping loyalty is driven by incredibly specific, measurable factors that literally change depending on the size of the building we walk into. So next time you go on a grocery run, ask yourself, are you loyal to this store because of the products you love? Or are you secretly just in love with their lighting, their parking policy, and their layout? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.